Hey everyone, I wanted to put a video together about my 2019 Z06 and the current state of the build for the car. I don't see a lot of information on this type of combination out there on YouTube, so I thought I would take a few minutes, go through what's done to the car and what I think of it and maybe what might come next. So I'll start with a little history. The car is a 2019. I bought it brand new from Whitmoyer Chevrolet down in Pennsylvania in June of 2018. Took delivery, I believe, on July 1st and brought the car home. It is a Arctic white with adrenaline red interior, 1LZ. The only option on the car was black wheels. So it was delivered with a manual 7-speed transmission. Basically bare bones C7 Z06. Last year it was built, 2019. And I ended up getting quite a good deal on it from Whitmoyer. Chad down there took a real good care of me. So initially, the car has never ever been stock. When I traded my Grand Sport in before I even took delivery of this car, I had them swap the stock factory H pipe for a Corsa double helix, the one that was actually on my Grand Sport. So it got exhaust modification before I even took it home. And for anybody curious about that, that's a great place to stop with the NPP exhaust. The Corsa double helix makes the car noticeably louder, but effectively still a stock car. It's a great mod. I recommend it to anybody that just wants a little bit of noise. And with the NPP exhaust, you can close the valves and it's still just as silent as normal. So it came home, and very quickly it got a GM Performance intake, and I drove it around intake and exhaust for the first couple months that I owned it. It did end up making a trip to the dyno in that trim with no tune, just with the bolt-ons. It made 573 rear wheel horsepower and I believe 580 foot-pounds of torque. Great combination, super drivable, effectively a stock car with just a little bit extra. So it was a great set of mods there. The first winter I owned it, so this would have been 2018 into 2019, I decided that I wanted to mod the car because I never leave anything alone. So what I ended up doing was I installed a set of Cook's 2-inch off-road headers, back to the stock exhaust, as well as a Maggie 2300 blower. And this is where things start to get interesting because, again, I don't see much information out there about this combination. So I'll pop the hood, I'll let you see that. There's been more done since that I'll cover in a little bit, but it's the 2.3 liter Maggie. Also at that time, did the exhaust, which you can see in there. By the way, the Cook's headers look great still. Very impressed with their finish. Did the Maggie, the headers, and ended up installing meth injection. Had a shop do the meth. I did the rest of the work myself, which is significant but not overwhelming. And then I had the car dyno tuned. So I had it tuned in the spring of 2019 with what I would consider significant bolt-ons. So meth injection, the 2.3 liter blower, and full exhaust. And what I'm showing you here is the dyno graph from that setup. So as you can see, max power 705 horsepower, max torque 689 foot-pounds. So super drivable combination. You'll see there's torque everywhere. The car was perfect. Obviously perfect street manners because it was still basically a stock motor with just the bigger blower and meth. Sure, you could make these numbers with a stock 1.7 liter blower, but I wanted to go a little bit bigger. And I was very happy with this. Great combination and great drivability. Again, you would think the car was stock just hearing it idle and driving it around. But, you know, bigger blower and meth makes pretty good power. And it did it fairly effortlessly. I mean, there were no other mods other than that. So I drove that for a year. Put about 6,000 or 7,000 miles on that combination. Was very happy with it. And then last winter, the winter of 2019 into 20, was time for the next round of mods. Now I never leave anything alone, so the next mod would have been a cam swap, and that's what we did. So out came the stock cam, and went a Brian Tooley Racing Stage 2 blower cam, as well as the valve spring upgrade, which I didn't do. I had a shop do that. Also along with that, you'll notice the Nick Williams 103 millimeter throttle body, which you'll see I got it in black. In order to do that, you need to buy a new snout from Maggie as well. So this piece is interchangeable along with the throttle body to make the two fit. Went with a smaller pulley yet. That's the smallest pulley that Maggie makes. It's a 70 millimeter pulley. Also did a larger lower, which you can kind of see down there. That's a 9% over lower from Innovators West. So a little bit more boost. The cam ended up going with some valve covers from K-Tech, as well as the relocation brackets, and a Mighty Mouse catch can, to ventilate the crankcase a little bit. Also had the shop fab up a coolant expansion tank. It's a little bit smaller than like the Cords Performance or anything like that, but it's a one-off and it's custom. I'm not sure if that's good or not, but it's the only one like it, so it's mine. And no other real additional mods. So we did the cam, smaller pulley, throttle body, kept the same meth injection, same GM Performance exhaust. I've not upgraded that, or GM Performance intake, that has not changed. And then some other little dress-up pieces. You'll see there's some a carbon air duct there, and carbon ducting in the hood, but those obviously don't add any horsepower. And got that back in February, and I'll show you the dyno graph from that. I'm very, very pleased with this set of mods as well. So you'll notice max torque, 827 foot-pounds, max power, 829 horsepower. So we'll call it 830 rear wheel horsepower. Now, the car does sound much less drivable than it used to be. But I have to tell you, I'm extremely impressed with the new LT motors. With a good tune on the car, which was done by Mike Formusa in Rochester. It does lope at idle, which I'll show you here in a little bit. But as soon as the car comes off idle, it honestly drives like stock. It's a great combination, makes killer power. At this point, I'm not really wanting for any more. Normally, every year I would want to do something else to my vehicles, something for more power, but at 830 wheel horsepower, you would figure that's about 950 or so crank horsepower. The car runs perfect. It drives like stock. I daily drive it every day that it doesn't rain. At this point, I've got about 13,000 miles on the car, and it is flawless. So at this point, I think I'm going to be leaving it alone. And I'm pretty happy with it. So I'll show you a couple more things. Inside, the interior is basically stock. I did a couple small modifications. I ended up going with the GM Alcantara steering wheel, as well as the shifter and the shift boot. It does have an MGW shifter in it. Another little mod I did myself. Awesome. The stock C7 shifter is very good, but the MGW is much better. And honestly, the Alcantara, the steering wheel, once you felt that in your hands, I don't think I can go back to regular leather. But other than that, the car is effectively pretty much just like it came. So I thought I would show you that. One other neat thing that I did do is here in the trunk for the meth injection. I ended up going with the Pro Meth tank that is back here in the cubby. And you'll see the meth tank is back here in the cubby. I believe it's advertised to hold 2.5 or 3 gallons. You'll notice some of the bigger shops like RPM, they put a larger tank back here. It's kind of a toss-up, and that's a decision that you would need to make as the owner of the car. I would say that with the low level sensor in this tank, it runs out pretty quick. There's quite a bit of margin between when the sensor comes on and when it's actually empty. However, it does kind of go through it pretty quick, especially when you're spraying as much meth as this is. So, you know, do you want to give up the floor space in the trunk for the larger tank? Again, it's a decision you have to make, because the larger tank is nice, but it does take up room. And then, you know, it depends on if you want to use the car to trailer or not. A couple other things I can mention. You'll notice the wheels. Those are Chinese ZR1 replicas that I had powder coated Spanish gold with a satin clear on it. And I think they came out really nice. They were black last year. And when I had these done, they really pop now. The white with the gold wheels and the red calipers, I really like it. Your mileage may vary on that. If you're thinking about doing something like that, something to keep in mind, the center caps are plastic and you can't really powder coat plastic, so you'll notice the shade is just a little bit different. I had to have a body shop take the color and match it as best they could. And they painted those, and actually they created a decal, the flag decal, and then cleared over it. So I'm pretty happy with it. If you get a little farther away, you can't tell they're a different color. And honestly, for the price I paid for them, I can't complain that much. It's way less than a set of forged wheels, so you know it was worth it. For tires, I'm running Toyo R888Rs, a 345 on the rear and a 285 in the front. Awesome tire. Yeah, they're loud on the highway, but there's not another tire that's going to hook this kind of horsepower as well as they do and still be drivable. So super happy with that. Anyways, I just wanted to do a video of the combination. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the garage open, hopefully get this all done in one take, and start it for you so you can hear the cold idle into a warm idle. The car has been sitting for probably 8 weeks at this point. We're at the end of December in upstate New York, so it's been in storage. As you can see, the cover I just peeled off of it, and it's still on the rollers, but I thought we could start it. You can hear the idle. You can hear how loud it is, because it's pretty loud with the valves open. But let me open the door and go set the camera up, and we'll start it up. that's the car. About a 16-minute video here. It's not too short-winded, but if you stayed for the end, if you got any questions, you can leave them in the comments. Hopefully I can try to respond to them, or maybe create a few more videos about it. But hopefully that helps somebody out. If you're considering a combination like this, I say go for it. I can't really say anything bad about it. I love the car just the way it is. Thanks for watching.